Hello everyone! In this video, I'll show you how to debug blueprints in a packaged Unreal Engine game using the Runtime Details plugin. You can connect to a running game, set breakpoints remotely, inspect variables, and step through execution. Let's see how it works. First, let me launch a packaged build of the game. Now that the game is running, I'll enter a console command to connect it to the editor's remote debugging server. Once the connection is established, I can open the Runtime Details window inside the editor. Here I'll select a blueprint object that exists in the running game. Now I'll open its blueprint graph and right-click on the tick function node and add a breakpoint. As you can see, the breakpoint is immediately hit and the game execution is paused. This means the blueprint running in the packaged build has stopped exactly at this node. Now in the debug toolbar at the top left of the Runtime Details window, I can step through the blueprint execution. Each step executes the next blueprint instruction in the function, allowing me to inspect the logic one step at a time. This makes it possible to debug blueprint behavior in real time, even when the game is running outside the editor. Next, let's look at another example. First, I'll remove the previous breakpoint. Now in the function list, I'll select a function and open its function graph. Here I'm going to place a breakpoint around the return node. When the function runs, the breakpoint is hit. Now let's inspect the return value. If I click on the return value pin, I can locate the corresponding variable in the stack variable panel. Here we can see that the return value is a color. Now I'll modify this value and change the color to red. Next, I'll continue stepping through the function until it returns. Now we move up one level in the call stack, where the color function receives the return value. And as you can see, the value received here is now the red color that we modified earlier. Let's switch to the game view and resume execution. Now you can see that the sky in the game has turned red, reflecting the change we made in the blueprint variable. Just to demonstrate again, I'll quickly change the value to green. And after continuing execution, you can see that the sky becomes green in the game. This shows how Runtime Details allows you to inspect and modify blueprint variables live during runtime execution. For the third example, I'll open another function and place a breakpoint somewhere inside its execution flow. Once the breakpoint is hit, instead of inspecting a local variable node, I'll click on a blueprint member property node in the graph. Now in the debug property panel, we can view the value of that blueprint member property directly. Next, let's take a look at the call stack panel. Here we can see the full chain of function calls that led to this breakpoint. If I select different stack frames, you'll notice that the stack variable panel updates, showing the variables for that specific stack frame. Each frame has its own set of local variables that can be inspected during debugging. This makes it much easier to understand how execution flows through multiple blueprint functions. Finally, in the top right corner of the Runtime Details window, you can also access the Objects Details panel. From here, you can find all the event graphs associated with the blueprint and open them for debugging. This allows you to navigate and debug blueprint logic across different graphs and functions. And that's a quick overview of blueprint debugging in packaged builds using Runtime Details. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for watching.